Hey, Tony Gas is here. Now, I want to address this here and answer the question of why are men giving up on relationships? Now, we've seen a young brother go on a nationally syndicated radio show and say that he will never be in a relationship. And now, that was my second time seeing a brother say that on that same nationally syndicated radio show. Now, I have never heard a woman say she will never be in a relationship. I've never heard it. I'm sure it has been said, but I've never heard it on a nationally syndicated radio or any type of media outlet. And so now we have men giving up on relationships. And what the men are saying they're doing it because there are no benefits to the relationship. They're saying that they are being set up for failure, that they're going and getting with a woman and they are marrying this woman and then they lose half of their net worth when they get a divorce. And that is not fair and that it's a setup. The men who are saying this are saying it's unfair for men because men have child support that they have to pay, alimony support, spousal support, severance support, lose 50%, don't get any credit, that no schools celebrate Father's Day because it's technically because Father's Day is in the summer and school is already out. But if you're going to celebrate Mother's Day, then maybe you should move up. The Father's Day celebration is what's being said. And it's just a lot. But giving up on a relationship, it just really seems like guys are losing hope. They're losing hope, losing faith. But what I want to address is the fact that it's not even about us. It's not about what we think it is. We don't understand that this is deeper than us. This is spiritual warfare. Because when men give up on relationships, and think about it, if you have men who are successful, who are seen, who are significant, who have a platform, which could be synonymous with being seen. If these men are saying they are giving up on relationships, then that means that there are going to be a lot of men who look up to these men saying the same thing. And when men make these points, a lot of times men make these points and I'm like, you know what? You're right. That makes sense. Like, oh yeah, that sounds like it makes sense. Like, what is the advantage? Like, what is the benefits, I would say. But here's the thing. The thing is that we have a lot more say so and control than we believe. So truthfully, men are giving up on a relationship. Men are giving up on relationships because of a lack of discipline and because of a lack of self-control. Men are giving up on relationships because we live in a microwave society and we live in a technologically advanced society that puts everything at your fingertips and everything is convenient. Anything you want to do. So now we live in a new day and age. So if you want to pull up to a restaurant or an event like a celebrity, you can get on Uber and use Uber Black, get picked up from your location. You literally could be in the hood. You could be living in the hood. You could be living with your mom and you can spend $20 to $150, $250 out of your food stamp money, You're scamming money, the money you borrowed from a woman who is desperate. And as a man, you could pull up to a fine dining restaurant in a black Suburban, black Denali, black Escalade through Uber Black. You can take a credit card. You can build your credit, get a credit card. You can join a private jet app, and you can get on you could join from $500 to $5,000, $2,500. You can join a private jet app, and they have what you call empty legs. You could be living with your mama. You could be making minimum wage, and you could take that credit card, join that private jet app, and you can get on a private jet and go from that nearest airport city to wherever it's going and be on a jet by yourself for as low as $500. We live in a microwave society. We live in a technologically advanced society. You now can take flights across the country for $70. Like, our world has made things so accessible and so easy. You can have horrible credit, be living with your mom, and be scamming women on Tinder because of online dating apps. You could be scamming women on Tinder, at the same time scamming women on Match, on eHarmony, on Bumble, on all these different things. You could have a woman in every state, have a long distance relationship with all of these women, have no job whatsoever, and pose as a baller with one credit card. With one credit card, you could be a baller. You could be pulling up in black SUVs. You can be getting on private jets and not have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of. You literally can have a credit card and be living in a shelter, be sleeping on your homeboy couch. And guess what? Hundreds of thousands of young men who are old enough to be married, old enough to have a woman, old enough to be in a relationship, are living this life. They are living a lie. There are guys with a credit score the same as their shoe size, but milking some system somewhere and driving fancy cars off of Turo, the car rental site, and they can literally drive for one day for $100, $200. They can drive an exotic car. They could drive a Bentley. They could drive a Ferrari. They could drive, even if they just want to keep it a little low key, they could drive a Tesla this week. Next week, they could get in a Jeep Wrangler. The next week, they could get in a Lexus, a BMW. Take a picture with it. Post it to Instagram. Post a reel. Post a story. Then shoot their shot in the DM to 10 different women. They could go on 7 dates a week. They can have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 women and be living a lie. Have no assets, have no credit, or have no job, or have one or the other, and be living a lie. So what happens is, a man says, well, because the world is so convenient, I don't need a partner. See, there was a time where we needed a partner. We needed a teammate. We needed somebody. But today, it's different. Like, in our grandparents' age, if a man had to go work 12 hours a day, he needed a wife if he wanted to have kids. Today, we got care.com. You can go on there and hire a 18-year-old who will come work for $20 an hour. You hire her one day, you shoot your shot, hit her with a little riz, little game, boom, hey, I'm paying $20 an hour. What you get out of that? Well, I'm getting like 12, 15. Okay, this is what I want to propose. I'm going to cancel my membership, cancel my account on care.com, and I give you just straight 15. Boom. Right to you. 15 an hour. And then what I do is I'll let you drive my backup car. So that way, boom, and I'll take care of the gas. Now he got a makeshift wife. Could get on care.com, pulse.com, thumbtack.com, Craigslist. You can get on all this stuff and get a pennies on the dollar house cleaner, a pennies on the dollar cook, a pennies on the dollar nanny or babysitter if he got a child that he get every weekend or every other weekend, or if his child with him full time. So, and then because of all of this, all of these teachings by these former scammers, is former scammers who have went legit. But in order to be a scammer, you got to be smart. In order to be a scammer, you got to really finesse the system. You got to understand the system to be able to beat the system. So they'll beat the system long enough, but then they go to playing big and they get arrested. They go to jail. They get out of jail and they say, you know what? 90% of this you could do legally. It was the 10% that got me locked up. So now they come back and they do that 90% that you could do legally. And so now through OnlyFans, these men is getting on there and paying for 1 month, 2 months membership to this credit person, and they learning how to build personal credit. They learning how to finesse personal credit. They learning how to build business credit. So now they just living in revolving debt. They creating their own Ponzi scheme. So you get this card, you run it up. You get this card, you pay it off. You get the next card, you pay it off. Then you get a business idea and you get a loan from your desperate woman from Tinder. Then you get this loan from this desperate woman from Bumble. Then you get this loan. It's very easy to get money from women because there's so many women that will pay for love, that will buy love. I tell you, it's millions of women that will do anything for a man. And a lot of these guys got muscles. A lot of these guys got talk game or one or the other. They got something going for themselves. If they don't have looks, then they got a silver tongue. If they ain't got no silver tongue and they just bumping their gums, then they got looks or they got muscles. And men are learning how to finesse the system. Men, we learn how to look successful and have no success. Trust me, I done lived that life. And in a certain degree, we all living it at a certain level. It's just different levels. Like no man that you see actually has it the way you think he has it. It's just men learn how to make it look good. And the same could go for women, but I'm speaking from a male perspective of why men have given up on relationships. And so the thing about it is, in a relationship, you get exposed. So if you got talk game and you want to wine and dine this woman, and you want this woman to love you, you want this woman to be crazy over you, but your thing is 3 inches, then you can't go all the way with that woman. So you got to play the abstinent role with her, but yet she's singing your praises, she investing into your business, and you stringing her along, and it's really because his thing is 3 inches. But if he get in that relationship, now he got to be exposed for them 3 inches. You see what I'm saying? At the same time, some men may have horrible credit. Some men may be in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. Some men may live with their mom. And so because we live in social media age and it's everyday men being exposed, on the Snapchats and the TikToks and the reels of everyday women, everyday men who don't have their stuff together and who can't get their stuff together because there's so many shortcuts and there's so many little tricks to the trade and so many ways to get ahead and scam. They can't get their stuff together. So then what happens is they end up just playing a role. And if you get with a woman, now this woman get to find out that what you look like online, you're not actually that. And so many men, they get to that place to where they get vulnerable and they say, well, I'm gonna go ahead and expose myself to this woman. But that woman got her stuff together and she say, oh wow, you thought you were finna play me? I'm out of here. I'm out of here. And then the man is butthurt, and then he started a podcast bashing women because a woman broke his heart, because when he got vulnerable and decided to let her know he got a 350 credit score, or he lived with his mama, or his thing is 3 inches, or whatever vulnerability that he was faking that he did not have online, then this woman get with him and she find the real, and he expect her to live with his lie. He expect her to be okay with that lie because he done lured her in. He think that she that desperate, so then he wanna get upset when she say, no, I ain't with that, playboy. You lied to me, and this a foundational lie. Like the lady who left the man for lying about his age. I can't blame her, because when you lie about your age, that's between you and God and the universe, like the galaxy, the stars, like the time you was born and the day you was born. That's so interwoven into the whole world that when you lie about that, you literally disrupting the solar system. It's one thing to lie about your income and say you make 70K, but really you make 30K. That's bad. But you actually can run a couple plays and make up that 40K. You actually could save well enough to make it look like you make 70K because your credit good and your budgeting is amazing. But to say you 28 when you 38, they ain't say, I didn't read or see about how old a man actually is. That's totally different. And a person that'll lie about something that is written in the stars, something that's written in the universe, something that's written in God book of life, meaning his God timeline for your life. You was born at this time, on this day, in this year. When you will lie about that, you can't be trusted. You can't be trusted with anything. When you will lie about something that cannot be changed, you'll lie about anything. See, your income, you can lie about your income, that could be changed. I ain't saying you can, but if you lie about your income, boom, by the time you got to show paperwork, you could have ran up a bag. You can't lie about that birth date. So this what meant, and the reason why that man lied about the birth date is because there are millions of men living a lie. There's millions of men living a lie. And to a certain degree, we all live in a lie. To a certain degree, every man is living a lie. To a certain degree. It's just different areas, just different arenas. You see what I mean? So I got a lot of cars. But based on the amount of cars I have, I should have a lot more real estate than I have. So that could be me living a lie. That's my arena. But I'm married. I'm faithful. I don't care as much about having all that real estate. I love me some cars. My money is different. I can earn until I die. Whereas if I was working with my knees, I got a cutoff on how long I could earn. I earn with my mind. So even if I can't talk, I could write. But even if I can't write, I could have it transcribed. So I literally am in a position that I could earn until the day that I die. And then after I die, my intellectual property can still be marketed and sold as an evergreen product. My kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids will be able to sell my books because it is what it is. And when people Google me, they will see the legacy that I have left, and they will say, I want to read this book. And my sons can repackage my courses, update the information, and market it the same way Tom Ziegler is still running Zig Ziglar's brand. Jim Rohn stuff is still being sold. These men are dead. And so it's different, but that's still my living a lie. Because a white man who, or a black man, or an Asian man, Hispanic man, whoever, a man who good with finances, they may say, hey, before I have a $500,000 worth of cars, I'm gonna have $5 million in real estate. And that ain't how I think, but that's because they don't like cars. They like real estate, and they could go through a recession and lose it all, and then have a gun to their head because they over leveraged in real estate. That's the risk they willing to take. This the risk I'm willing to take. You see what I'm saying? So to a certain degree, every man living some form of his own quote unquote lie. And what's happening is men are becoming more and more afraid to be exposed for the lie that they're living, to be exposed for the thing that they're hiding. And the one thing that'll do that is a woman. A woman will expose a man, especially if he's not the man for her, especially if he told a lie to lure her in. And men are fearing that. Men worried about that. And so men giving up on relationships, not because of all the disadvantages, because here's the truth about this thing, and this to every man watching this. The truth about this thing is we have way more control than we're willing to admit. And what I mean by that is a man has the ability to choose the woman he's going to be with. And a man easily, with any woman, has 12 months to study this woman and get to know this woman and look at her character in good and bad times, because in 12 months it's going to be a lot of ups and downs in her life, and he will get to see how she responds to life, or if she reacts to life in a terrible way. So this man then can choose a quality woman who is a healthy and whole and happy woman. So just choosing a good woman decreases the chances of a divorce by 50 to 70%. And then the other portion that would cause a divorce all lies within the man. So when you talk to men who have gone through a divorce, 9 out of 10 of them have gone through a divorce because of them. Like, just talk around. Just do the math. Just do the math. I really want you to find 10 men who have gone through a divorce and ask him why he went through a divorce, and ask the woman why they went through a divorce. And I have done this because I have coached thousands of people. So I've done this because this is the work that I do. And it's almost 100% based on my thousands that I have worked with. It's almost 100%. It was like, I won't say 100, but it's like 98, 99%. The man was cheating too much, or he was abusive. He was cheating, or he was abusive. That is what I hear. Like, people say, oh, finances is a large cause of divorce. Finances is a part of it, but it just exacerbates what's already going on. Like, you're going to fight about finances, but you're not going to get a divorce over finances. But finances coupled with abuse of any form or cheating of any form, now you got a recipe for divorce. And so that's really what's happening. But a lot of people put on the survey finances, and they fill out finances, which files under irreconcilable differences, because they don't want people in their business. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to expose themselves. They don't want to tell the truth. But when you get in the trenches and you're doing the work, like myself as a relationship coach, and you're dealing with thousands of people and reading thousands of stories, you never read a couple say we got a divorce because we couldn't come to terms on finances. You always read she cheated or he cheated. She was abusive or he was abusive. And it's typically on the man. And that is why, and I'm just calling it like it is. Like if it was the other way around, me being a man, I would be so happy to say, see here, ladies, this is your fault. This is your fault. See, did what y'all doing. I'll be glad to say it if that was the case. But unfortunately, it's not the case. It's typically the man's fault. And that's why men are so afraid, because we don't trust ourselves. When a man doesn't trust himself to be able to be faithful and to love without also including some form of abuse, when a man doesn't trust his healing, doesn't trust himself, then he's going to fear marriage, because marriage has constraints. Marriage has rules and regulations. And so in marriage, you can't just do anything. You can't just do anything you want to do. There are some guidelines and some boundaries in marriage, and not just with the woman, but also under God if you rock with the Lord. And so as a man, my flesh would love to talk to another woman, get to meet somebody new. And my wife probably would love to have male friends and laugh and talk and have different conversation with other men. We human. We like fish in the water. We want to swim around. We want to meet new people. But in marriage, it's not appropriate to have friends of the opposite sex unless it's a special case. It's somebody you've known your whole life and y'all literally like siblings, like in a very real way, and your spouse approves of it because they check the vibe, they check the energy in the room, and they really can tell like this person's solid. I trust this person, and I'm willing to take this chance with you being friends with this person of the opposite sex. And if something happen, I'll take it on the chin and get a divorce because of my discernment was off. This on me. If a spouse is like that about it, then yeah, you could do that. But that's not the case. It ain't the case. 9 out of 10 times it's not the case. Some people are the exception to the rule, and even them, they really 9.9 out of 10 times, one of the people is oblivious that the other person actually has a crush on them, and the other person actually will move forward in a relationship if the opportunity presented itself. 9.9 out of 10 times, and it's just one person is oblivious. But I saw these young men asking these women, do you got a male friend? It was like, yeah. They was like, you think he'll sleep with you? And they was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is my friend. These young men have these women call they quote unquote best male friend and say, hey, I want to come see you tonight. And I'm thinking we ought to sleep together. They say the cuss word for it, the F word. And the dude like, huh? What? No. And she's like, no, I'm serious. They were like, okay, cool. Come over. 100% on. And that's what I tell women. You might be his friend, but that man will put something on you in a heartbeat. That man will put something on you in a heartbeat. You hear me? And so that's again a sign that men and women are different. Men and women are different. A lot of women can't believe that. So because of all of these factors, that I just mentioned, this going into play with men. And so really, men say they giving up on relationships because it's too restricting, because they can't just be with one woman. They can't be like, I could get it if a man had a meat game that when he put that thing on that woman, any and every woman is screaming and hollering. She got tears coming to her eyes. She got the chills, goosebumps, her whole body shaking. And she just, releasing over and over and over. Like that would be such a high for a man that I could then say the fleshly side of me understand why you want that type of applause and prays in that bedroom, and I see why you stuck. But guess what? There is no man that could do that to a woman. There's no man, and I'm talking about in a real way. Like, yes, if a woman is in love with a man. Yes, if a woman is, just a nympho herself. But those are exceptions to the rule. So here we got men that's walking around, just average dang-a-lang men, who not even doing nothing for the woman in the bedroom other than the woman faking through it, and the man don't know it because he's not a life coach like myself, talking to women in a very unfiltered, real conversations to then learn that we as men are not what we think in the bedroom. And when men come to the knowledge to realize that a lot of that hollering, all of the hollering is fake. It's theatrics for a woman. A woman literally can sleep with a man and not make a peep, regardless of the size or his stroke. A woman could sleep with a man and not make a peep, because that's what women do when they with a man they don't want to be with, or they being put in a situation they didn't ask to be in. And what men have to realize is that a woman, whether she can have kids or not, her body still is set up to be able to push out a 14 to 21 inch long baby that weigh 10 pounds, even 2 pounds, which my son was 2 pounds 10 inches. It ain't a man in the world who thing weigh 2 pounds and 10 ounces. 2 pounds 10 ounces. And most women pushing out between 5 to 10 pound babies. And then a man think that if a woman body can endure that, his little meat gain finna be earth shattering to her. Yes, a woman can enjoy it. Yes, a woman can have a relief. Yes, a woman can love it. Yes, a woman could be crazy about it. But that's her mental. That's her mental. It ain't the man. It's the woman wanting that. Because it's mental. The largest sexual organ is the mind. So we got these men acting like they can't be in a relationship with one woman just because they don't make sense, because they meat gain so good and they got to be with all these different women. And it's like, bro, you're not even like that. Like, you're not even on that level. Like, bro, you look like a little runt. Like, bro, you either look like Jack and the Beanstalk or you look like a little leprechaun. Either way, now one of them ain't cute. Either way, now one of them shouldn't be taking the position of, I deserve multiple women. No, you don't. You barely deserve one woman. So you need to shut up and sit down and be happy that a woman want to put up with your musky booty behind. Because it's like, come on now. You got ingrown toenails. All right? The skin under your beard is flaky. Your breath be stinking. You're musty under the arms. You got ingrown hairs everywhere. Your meat gain in 30 seconds. Even if you go 5 minutes, you really ain't got no motion in the ocean. Like, I could easily say this because I done talked to thousands of women who done been married for several years. You seen on the show that put the man on there, the other DJ wife came out, and the DJ wife came out and said she fake orgasm for 10 years. And she said that. You know how emasculating that is? You know how bad that hurt? She said that. And so it's like, she ain't the only one. My wife could be around here faking. I'm not finna flatter myself to believe that, oh, I'm just that guy. And that's the fantasy world that men live in, because we believe what we see. Because most men today are porn babies. Was created by a man who was fulfilling his fantasy after getting worked up from watching a porno. And then a lot of men today are addicted to porno. And because they're addicted to porno, they can't be with the real deal because they can't appreciate and respect the real deal. And it's the problem that we have. So, hey, this why men are canceling relationships, and it need to be brought to the attention, and men need to get to the real reason of why they canceling relationships so they can understand your reasoning is not valid. Your reasoning is not valid, and you're hurting your culture. You're hurting your lineage. You're hurting your legacy. You're hurting your family name. You're hurting your mama. You hurting your daddy, whether they was there or not. You hurting the world because you are just living and dying and you're not advancing the people, the human race, by adding your contribution of love and stability in a family unit to the world. So essentially you can living and dying as a social security number because you did not move the story forward. And it's just a waste. It is a waste. So it's like, come on now, occupy, do something, be something, add to the world, move the needle forward, move the ball down the field. Come on now. Hey, this is Tony Gasson. God bless you. We'll talk soon.